Pleasant afternoon, everyone. From the six Augustinian values, I have chosen community to discuss with you today. Let's start with what's the ideal community of St. Augustine? The ideal of a community, according to St. Augustine, will be to have one soul and one heart directed towards God. So how did St. Augustine able to form this idea? So this concept was taken from Acts chapter 4, verse 32, which states that the multitude of believers were one in heart and soul. So St. Augustine then added towards God or in Deo to this biblical text when he received a letter from St. Paulinus of Nola, who used this text as a commentary saying that those members of the community who brought to St. Augustine the letter form with him just one heart and one soul directed towards God. So St. Augustine liked this phrase, and so from time on, whenever he quoted this text, he will add in Deum, which means directed towards God. Another thing, St. Augustine wanted to put in the different order of these two parts, the one heart and one soul. Being an expert in rhetoric, that what is important should be placed at the end, he puts the one soul first, then the one heart at the end, because what is more important in a community is the love of God, which binds together all the members of the community. So, the ideal community of St. Augustine has 3 points. The one soul, known as the anima una, the one heart, cor unum, and towards God, the in Deum. The first point is the one soul. To have one soul means for St. Augustine to be able to openly communicate inside the community and be able to agree on what the community has decided to do in the future. So the one soul means that after the dialogue within the community and despite the differences, there should be an agreement between all the members of the community, and all should respect that agreement because that is the soul of the community. The second point is the one heart. To have one heart means that the prime and main object of love of all the members of the community is God. There cannot be a different love, and all the other persons are loved in God. If we love things other than God, we cannot form a community because we will be divided. The third and last point is the in Deum, or the directed towards God. This means that the community recognizes that it is a group of pilgrims of the city of God and that they have to journey spiritually every day to reach the kingdom of heaven. We just travel and wander here on earth and make sure that our final destination could really be the kingdom of God. So here in the rule of St. Augustine, he emphasized more on how we should deal with our community life. I got its essence in which it is to value community life over seeking for oneself. So how could this be practiced? What could be some exercises of having an Augustinian community life? First is to love your family. Well, this also includes our school or department where we belong with. Next is to pray for ourselves, for yourself and community with your lips and your heart. May the words of our prayers be real, sincere, and truly come from the heart and not just from our lips. Next is to serve, always having in mind the common good. We, teachers, are reinventing ourselves and our career to better serve our school and the students. And lastly, give to each according to each need. Are we sharing what we have? And are we receiving only according to our need? To wrap up everything, let's reflect on this passage from the Rule of St. Augustine. So it says that charity is understood in this way, that it places the common good first before one's own and not one's own before the common good. We can say that no one shall perform any task for his own benefit, but all your work shall be done for the common good with greater zeal and more dispatch than if each one of you were to work for yourself alone. For charity, as it is written, is not self-seeking. So whenever you show great concern for the common good than for your own, you may know that you are growing in charity. Thus, let the abiding virtue of charity prevail in all things that minister to the fleeting necessities of life. Thank you so much for listening, and this ends my report on community and Augustinian value.